Amazing knives are made all over the world, and I've been blessed to check out knives from many different countries. But this is the first time that I've ever received a knife from the Ukraine. Today, we're checking out a new EDC bushcrafting style knife. Let's check it out. Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in, and if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny, and if you haven't guessed it, that's what's in this box that I'm opening right now. And this one is special to me because it's coming from a country which has knife makers that I've never experienced before. I have never checked out a knife that was made in the Ukraine. And so this one is a first for me. Now, honestly, they did reach out to me on Instagram and they said, hey, would you like to check out one of our knives, take a look at our catalog and let me know what you think. And after taking a look at their catalog, I noticed that this one was brand new. This was one of their recent releases and it looked great. So of course I said yes. So thank you to BPS Knives for sending this my way, all the way from the Ukraine, and it took a while to get here, but it is finally here. So today we are of course going to check it out. Now, full disclosure, I don't usually check out fixed blades on this channel for a couple different reasons, and the first one is going to be that I don't carry a lot of fixed blades that are bigger than an EDC size because it just doesn't fit my use case scenario. You know, I will carry a bigger fixed blade or a more robust fixed blade when I go camping or if I'm out in the outdoors, but for my everyday carry purposes, it's just not there for me. And then of course, the second reason is that I primarily do tabletop reviews where I focus on the design language of a knife. And when it comes to fixed blades, most people want to see it in action. So that's why I don't normally do them. However, when I started reading up on BPS Knives and I started seeing all the positive customer feedback that they had got, I knew that there was something that I had to check out. I had to see for myself just how good this fixed blade really is and what I thought of it once it came across my table. So in the interest of full disclosure, I have not done any field testing on this knife aside from using it on a ferro rod. I did not manage to capture that on film. I did record it. However, that recording did get corrupted, so I don't have any actual evidence of it. But if you guys want to see me field test this knife, do me a favor. Let me know in the comment section down below what you would like to see in a follow-up video. Today, we're going to be talking mostly about design, craftsmanship, and of course, what do you get? So let's start off with that one. What does it cost? And what do you get for your money? Well, first of all, this knife comes in at $70. However, my friends over at BPS Knives were cool enough to give us a discount code. So if you go to their website, which I will link in the description down below, that is bpsknives.com, and you use the code Rollshambo10, you can get 10% off. So while this does cost $70, with the discount code, you get it for $63. We're looking at an overall length of 8.6 inches with a 3.9 inch blade, so it's just shy of 4 inches. The handle scales are this really nice cross-hatched purple. It's almost like a Merlot micarta, but the cross-hatching on here is very nice. It's a full tang design, meaning that the blade is continued all the way through to the end of the handle scales, which is great for some extra added strength. BPS Knives is known for making bushcrafting and camping knives, and this is definitely one that's going to shine in that area. I also see this as somewhat of a tactical knife, believe it or not. The drop point blade shape is very versatile, and this is one that you could use for a number of different reasons, but let's just go ahead and assume that you're going to use it for bushcrafting. The blade is made out of D2 steel, and it is heat treated by them in-house. They have their own machine shop where they make these by hand, and they're targeting this D2 steel at 60 to 61, which for a fixed blade, in my opinion, is awesome. It does have a micro bevel, which is to say that this is not a convex edge. It's not a Scandi grind. It is a regular concave edge bevel, and so it's going to be great for the regular everyday cutting purposes. And something that I'm a big fan of is the fact that we have a 90-degree edge on that spine, meaning that you can of course use this to throw sparks if you do have something like a ferro rod and you find yourself in a situation where you need to start a fire. You can go ahead and do that. As I mentioned before, I did actually test that out because I do have one and it works quite well. Some knives look like they have a 90-degree edge, and then you go and test them in that capacity and find out that it's just not meant for that, or it just wasn't designed well enough for that. Now in this case, you can tell that they thought about it because that is a very sharp angle right there, and it gets the job done if you are someone that uses a ferro rod when you go out camping or bushcrafting. Moving on to the sheath. The sheath is actually a really nice quality ABS plastic, and it includes a tech lock. Something that I like about the tech lock is that you can use it not only to attach this knife to your belt, but you can also use it to attach to the strap on a bag, or if you have a rig setup on that you're wearing, you can of course attach it to that as well. The tech lock is one of those tried and true clip scenarios that a lot of people really like, and the fact that you get it on a handmade $70 knife is awesome. Now, personally, if I were to carry this every day, I would have to take the tech lock off, and I'd probably replace it with some pull the dot loops, which would make this a lot thinner and would also mean that I could scout carry this or put this in an appendix carry, and it would work really well in that capacity as well. Now, for those of you who are not initiated into fixed blades quite yet, you might be looking at this and you might be saying, cool story. We've got micarta and D2 steel and they want $70 for it before discount code. That doesn't seem like that great of a deal. Let me tell you why this is actually quite impressive. These are handmade in the Ukraine. The Ukraine is currently in an open conflict with Russia, in case you didn't know. And on top of that, D2 is an excellent steel when it comes to fixed blades, especially when they're targeting 60 to 61 Rockwell. D2 shines the best when it is held to a great heat treat and the correct Rockwell target is reached. And in this case, you can tell that they did a great job. I'm very impressed with the ergonomics of this knife. I get a full 4-finger grip, no problem. And even if you have large to extra large size hands, you should be able to get a full 4-finger grip as well without any issue. Balance on this knife is fantastic, and I did watch some other videos. There's another channel out there that does throwing knives, and apparently this works really great as a throwing knife. Now, the edge geometry on this is not supposed to be the most slicey thing in the world. This is a fixed blade. You should be able to baton with it and feather stick and all of that instead of slicing paper or opening up your boxes, but it is not necessarily an axe head either. It has a really nice grind here, and you could tell that they did this by hand. The work that they did is awesome. If you're wondering what this is right here, there is actually grease or oil on the blade. It came very well oiled. Now, D2 has stainless properties, but it is not in fact a full stainless steel. It's what's considered a semi-stainless. So it has some stainless properties, but it's not a full stainless steel. So I would entirely suggest not actually taking the grease off the blade. Leave the grease on there. That is actually intentional, and they do actually have that grease or that oil inside the sheath. That's not a new tactic. In fact, when it comes to fixed blades, it's not uncommon to see people putting grease or oil inside their sheath because usually it protects the integrity of the sheath, and then every time you put your knife away, it goes in and comes out nicely protected from the elements. This was more prevalent back before the age of these new age super steels that are highly stainless but also tough. And when it comes to D2, it is something that I recommend. Leave the grease and the oil in the sheath. You won't regret it, and it'll work rather well. Now, does that mean that I would suggest this for food prep? Maybe not. I have no idea if the grease or oil is food grade level, but at least for your regular cutting tasks when you're out and about in the wilderness, this will do you just fine. I'm actually quite shocked that this is handmade because every time I look at this, I'm just blown away by how comfortable the ergonomics are. The little details like the 90-degree spine that is very well finished, the jimping up here, which is nice and deep and also slightly rounded on the spine to give you extra purchase and to give you extra grip, which is what I look for in jimping. But there's only so much that I can talk about when it comes to a fixed blade on a tabletop review, and it leaves me with this. I would love to go ahead and do some field tests with this knife. I would love to take it out and really put it through its paces. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to throw sparks with a ferro rod out in the wilderness, because here in Colorado, we're reaching temperatures in the 90 to 100 degree range, which means that, you know, there is a fire ban in place and I don't want to burn anything down. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't put this through some batoning tests. It doesn't mean that I couldn't do a tip strength test. It doesn't mean that I couldn't do some feather sticking, but I need your help. First of all, would you be interested in watching me do that video? And second of all, what kind of things would you like me to test during the field test? I think this is definitely a knife that I need to come back to, because they did a phenomenal job on the craftsmanship. Everything from the fit and finish of the handle scales to the grind on the blade echoes a dedication to craftsmanship and quality. And I think for $70 to get a nice handmade Ukrainian knife, especially during a time of conflict in that area, it's really, really cool. Whether you support those efforts or not, I definitely think if you're into fixed blades, or if you're just looking for a great bushcrafting knife, this is one that you should check out. I will, of course, leave a link to their website in the description down below. But now I'm curious, what do you think of the BPS Knives Beta? Is this one that you think you'd like to pick up for your camping rig, or is this a pass for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you watched this far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And by the way, if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, go ahead and click on one of the videos that pops up next.